It's almost like impossible to talk about every episode because when things are going so well, can't really dive deep, but we're going to try. Welcome to episode 691 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. And Yankees Royals. The Yanks take 3 in Kansas City. They took 3 out of 4, dropped the final game of the set after almost stealing the victory late in the game. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the entire series. We'll give some thoughts and whatnot. So let's get to it. Episode 691. Let's get to the intro. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for 3. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball. Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
U.S. trying to close the show.
She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the net? Don't you regret not coming to the net?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Welcome to the show. Welcome, excuse me, to episode 691 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4. Oh, shit. Where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Talking Yankees, Royals. In this episode, the Yanks take 3 in KC here on episode 691, discussing this 4-game set. This Yankees team is rolling. They are, 49 and 21, a 700 team. You know, they lost today. Who cares? They can afford it. We have established now at this point in the season that this team is a really good team. They're going to win 100-plus games, most likely, knock on wood. Possibly the division if things continue to go this way. They're going to be very, very good this summer. So, you hate to assume things, but the rest of the season, you're just watching to get an idea of what we need to upgrade with to make sure that it's just not going to be a fun summer, but it's also a fun fall. We discussed this after the Dodgers series that the Yankees still have to make some upgrades to make them a World Series caliber team, as opposed to just a very, very good regular season team. But one thing is for sure, they have a lot of aspects on this team that you want on a World Series roster. There are so many things to like with the way Brian Cashman built this roster. There you go. I complimented the man. This lineup just continues to be the number one reason to watch them. Despite the pitching being as fantastic as it's been, people come to watch the Yankees this year because they want to watch Juan Soto and Aaron Judge back-to-back in the order, and we finally got that in this series. And they produced some really, really impressive offense, the Yankees did, especially in the middle 2 games against a good pitching Kansas City Royals team. They threw some good pitchers out there, right? Seth Lugo is no slouch. Singer is no scrub. The Yankees faced some good talented pitching. And, they ran into some trouble against Marsh today, but to drop double-figure runs in back-to-back games the way they did, wow. So we'll get into it. A 4-game set where, once again, the Yankees took 3. So let's dive in without further ado real quick. Before we do dive into the show, if you are new to the podcast, just be sure to subscribe, download these episodes. I appreciate that. You can find BD4 on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and much more. You can listen and you can watch the video format as well. Let's get into it. As soon as we return from our first break here on the show, we'll dive into Game 1 of this 4-game series. Stay with us. We'll be back in about 15-20 seconds.
Hey there. Thanks for listening in so far. If you enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show. Episode 669 of the podcast. Sorry, 691. I don't know why I keep messing that up. I'm reading my phone at the same time. Let's get to Game 1 of this series, which was a few days ago, but the Yankees took Game 1 4-2 over the Royals. This was Carlos Rodon, the left-hander, versus the right-hander, former Met, who's now with the Royals having a good year, Seth Lugo. This was a punt game, actually. Ironically, it was Soto's first game back after missing the LA series. So he was back in the lineup, but there was no Anthony Rizzo, there was no Giancarlo Stanton, and there was no Aaron Judge, just the day off for him. So instead, you had, Jahmai Jones in the lineup, you had Trent Grisham, and there you had Gleyber Torres in the 3-hole. It was a very ugly-looking lineup, but Soto was back. And with that lineup, the Yankees produced 4 runs on 9 hits, a walk, 2 for 6 in scoring position, but they found a way, unlike I feel like in the past, when the Yankees would go with a punt lineup, they would punt, and they would be bad, and they would go to their bums in the bullpen early because they weren't scoring and they were giving up runs. But this Yankees team just finds ways to produce and to manufacture runs. And so the Yankees were total small ball in this. That's how they produced their offense in this. They played small ball. Of those 9 hits, every single one of them were base hits. They were all singles. 3 of them were bunts. They only struck out 6 times. They played small ball. Right away, first inning, top of the first, Soto, in his first at-bat back, picks up a base hit. Then Gleyber Torres shoots one in right field for a base hit. And then it's Alex Verdugo for the 3rd Yankee hit in a row, an RBI base hit. The other way, through the left side of the infield. It's 1-0 Yankees. DJ LeMahieu comes up to the plate later. He puts down a sac bunt. Gleyber scores. It's 2-0. So there you had it. And then the top of the 4th comes. DJ's up. Leadoff base hit. Grisham's hit by a pitch on a bunt attempt. He gets on base. Jones comes up to the plate. He bunts. He's out, but he moves the runners to 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs. And with 2 guys in scoring position, Jose Trevino comes through with a base hit, a 2-run single. So that's 4-0 Yankees. And yeah, you just love to see the base hits despite not having your best lineup out there. Verdugo, 2 for 4 RBI. Trevino, 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, a sac bunt in the 9th inning. Soto, 1 for 3, a walk. Gleyber, 1 for 4, a couple strikeouts. So their offense was just doing it with small ball. It was an old man's dream. Carlos Rodon, we'll talk about his stellar outing later. He goes 7. The bullpen, 2 innings, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. Hamilton was bad again. Put more traffic on, allowed another run. Tonkin got some big outs once again. He was attacking the zone immediately. got some generous calls, but gets the job done. The defense, it was good all series. In this game, the fourth inning, DJ LeMahieu, a diving stop at first, makes the flip to Rodon for the out. You had, in the outfield, they were active all night. Jones and Grisham were very active on their feet, making plays. And so the Yankees won the first game of the set, 4-2. Game 2 of this series, the Yankees won over the Royals 10-1. The right-hander Marcus Stroman against the righty Brad Singer. And this was kind of the opposite. They put their death lineup out there, so they had everybody out there, and they went away from small ball, and they played long ball. They produced 10 runs on 10 hits, 4 extra base hits, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts, a double play hit into, but they were 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And right away, you had the Yankees on the board. The Volpe leadoff triple in the first inning. Soto walks, and then Judge with the RBI bloop base hit to right field, 1-0. Verdugo ground out. He pushes the runners in the scoring position with 1 out. So with second and third, Stanton picks up a fielder's choice RBI. Soto coming home with a nice slide to avoid the tag, and it was 2-0 Yankees. And then they woke up. Top of the fourth, the power started coming. Verdugo picks up a base hit. Stanton's hit by a pitch. Rizzo moves both runners over. Glaber picks up a single. It's an RBI hit, 3-0. And then Austin Wells, a 3-run home run to dead center field, which looked like a pop-up to me off the bat, but it kept traveling, and it fell over the wall, and it was 6-0 Yankees once it landed. Top 6, Oswaldo Cabrera, an RBI base hit. That knocked Singer out of the game, 7-0. Top 7 versus Anderson. You have the Soto walk, and then Aaron Judge with his 25th of the season, 2-run home run, 9-0. Stanton after that, solo bomb, traveled, they said 446, definitely was more, 10-0, and there was your offense. Judge 2 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs. Stanton 2 for 4, home run, hit by pitch, 2 RBIs. Since the year 2021, the Yankees are 39-4 when both of them hit home runs. And in the year 2024, the Yankees are so far 8-0 when they both go deep. So there you go. Austin Wells, 2 for 4, home run, 3 RBIs. Glaber Torres, 1 for 3, walk, RBI. Oswaldo Cabrera, 1 for 4, RBI. Volpe, 1 for 5, triple. Soto, 0 for 2, 2 walks. Rizzo, 0 for 5, a double play hit into almost 2, but second baseman made the error. Marcus Stroman in this game goes 5 2/3, no runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, a strikeout, no homers. 102 pitches, gets the win. He continues to do his thing. He'll get into trouble here and there. That's why he's got the high whip, 1.24. But at the end of the day, he gets out of jams. He's got a 2.82 ERA, and he's got 5 starts on the season with no earned runs allowed. That's tied for first in the American League with Skubal and also a guy named Luis Heel. But I thought Stroman was good. I thought he mixed up his fastballs again, 35 sinkers, 31 cutters. Off speed, he went 21 slider, 9 splitter, 6 slurve. Just staying way outside the strike zone, forcing batters to chase, being stubborn, pitching to his game. And then the bullpen, 3 1/3, 1 run. Marinaccio allowed the solo bomb in the 8th. They let him go. They let him go 40 pitches, 2 1/3. And then Gonzalez pitched the scoreless 9th. The defense in this game, again, was good. 4th inning, he had the Rizzo, nice catch in short right field going back. 7th inning, Glaber Torres makes a nice play up the middle. And again, the Yankees win this one 10-1. Game 3, the Yankees win this game 11-5 over the Royals. Right-hander Cody Poteet making his return to the mound against the right-hander, I think debuting this season, Altavilla, and the Yankees scored 11 runs. Excuse me. Top of the first inning, Volpe singles, Soto walks, Judge singles, so you load the bases with no outs. Verdugo comes to the plate. He rips a 2-run base hit, 2-0. Glaber walks. That's when Altavilla's pulled. I guess they were using him as the opener. And then it's Rizzo with a sac fly off of Lynch, 3-0. And then Jose Trevino, another home run, 3-run shot, makes it 6-0. Top 5, Soto walks. Stanton hits a 2-run bomb. This one was 449. It's 8-0. Top 7, Soto hit by a pitch. Stanton single. And then the Gleyber Torres 3-run home run makes it 11-2. So there's your 11 runs. Volpe 2 for 5. Stole a base. Stanton was 2 for 5. Home run, 2 RBIs. Trevino 2 for 4. Homer, 3 RBIs. Gleyber 1 for 4. A walk. Home run, 3 RBIs. Soto 1 for 2. 2 walks, hit by pitch. Verdugo 1 for 4. He walked. Drove in 2 RBIs. Rizzo 1 for 3. Sac fly, RBI. Cody Poteet 5 1/3. 2 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, no homers, 88 pitches in the win. Kid looks good. Maybe the Yankees found something. Maybe he's another product of, Cashman and Blake. He looks good. He's got 2-seam changeup kind of working for him. Doesn't throw hard, but kind of pitches similarly to Stroman. Now he lost gas a little bit late, but again, we're only asking for 5 innings tops from Cody Poteet anyway, and that's what he's continuing to do. He pitched 5 1/3. Again, just 2 runs, and that came when Hamilton came in because the bullpen, once again, was bad. 3 2/3, 3 runs. Hamilton and Canley were bad. Inherited runs. It was 11-5 after they were out of the game. Weaver and Ferguson, they were great. Scoreless 8th and 9th for them. But early relief was bad. The defense was good. You had Anthony Volpe making nice plays in this game. 7th inning, he made a nice play. 8th inning, he made a nice play. So the Yankees win 11-5. And that was game 3. Excuse me. God damn. Voice is going out tonight. I'm still getting over being sick. I had a cold. Game 4, the Yankees lose 4-3 to the Royals. The lefty Nestor Cortez against the righty Marsh. Bottom of the 4th, Vinny Pasquantino with the 2-run double to make it 2-0 Royals. Top 7. The Yankees were still without a hit at the moment. There being no hit through 6+ innings against Marsh. But Soto breaks it up with a leadoff single. The Yankees don't do anything with that, but top of the 8th comes. They make noise. Rizzo with a leadoff home run against Schreiber. It's 2-1. The Yankees are down. But then Austin Wells reaches on an E4. Gets pinch ran for with Jones. Grisham comes to the plate. Picks up a big single to make it 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Volpe comes up to the plate. Rips an RBI, or hits into a ground out, but he gets the RBI. Ties the game at 2. Soto steps up. And of course he gets the big hit. Base hit to the outfield. RBI comes in. It's 3-2 Yankees. And you thought they were going to pull away with that there, but bottom of the 9th comes. Clay Holmes blows it. The defense was definitely interesting in this. You had the play where Holmes and Rizzo miscommunicate. Didn't like that. Rizzo's been bad out there. You had the play at the end there with the walk-off where DJ is playing off the line. The ball ends up going down the line, and so because of that, the Yankees lose 4-3. Was that the best alignment? I don't know. I wasn't watching the game. I was listening to the game, but that was that. Nestor Cortez at least pitched well. 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, no homers allowed, 88 pitches, got the no decision. So he continues to, be the worst of the Yankee pitchers, but he was the best starter in the final 3 games. Unfortunately, every time Nestor Cortez pitches, it feels like the Yankees lose, whether it's his fault or not. Nestor days haven't gone well for the Yankees this year. For a team that's playing basically 700 ball, I think they're 6-9 when Nestor pitches, which is really bad. Again, considering they're playing 700 ball, it's like, wow, what are they on the non-Nestor days? But yeah, he picks up the no decision because Clay Holmes once again blew it. We'll talk about the bullpen in a second, maybe a little later. But let's head to break, and we'll get to a few talking points when we get back from our second break here on BD4, episode 691. Be right back.
You can follow us on social media as well. On Instagram, we're at BD4Pod and at Rob J. Carbone. On X, we're at BD4Pod and at RJCBD4. And on Facebook, we're BD4. If you're interested in our website, just go to www.bd4blog.com. You can subscribe to our blog on there right on the front page. Just like on the podcast, we cover Yankees, Knicks, and MMA. Also on our website are the links to the different platforms for the podcast. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to the show. Episode 691 of the podcast. The Yanks take 3 in KC. Things are looking good. Again, this lineup is producing offense. I love the fact that the Yankees continue to put runs on the board early. This has been my favorite thing for the longest time ever. I've always said how much I think it's important. I've always stressed that scoring early, scoring in the first inning, being the first team to put runs on the board is super important. And the Yankees are one of the best teams in baseball in doing that. Statistically, it gives you a better chance to win the game. Just logically speaking, it's good. When you score right away, it's good. And the Yankees, fortunately, have such a talented and deep lineup. They're able to put together a batting order where they can do this consistently. And I don't know why people were against the Volpe leadoff decision in the beginning of the season, but now you're seeing why the Yankees went with it and are sticking with it, and were sticking with it even when he was slumping. Because Anthony Volpe, all he has to do is get on base. He does not have to hit home runs. He just needs to be on first base. Whether he's picking up a base hit, whether he's reaching on an infield hit because he's got the speed now to where he can level off that swing and not try to uppercut for a home run because he can beat a ground ball to third base. Or if he's walking, or just get him on first base because he can get to second base on a steal, or he can get to second base because he's got a guy named Juan Soto batting second behind him. So Volpe gets on, Soto does his thing. And if Soto comes through with a non-extra base hit, if it's a single or a walk and Volpe's still on base after Soto's up, well, guess what? Now you have Barry fucking Bonds batting third. And that guy's probably going to hit a home run. So he'll do that. And he'll hit one out. And there you go. There are your 2, 3, 4 runs in the first inning right there. It is so important to do. And I'm so happy the Yankees have finally gotten back to that formula. Score first, and we're good the rest of the way. Put that team in a moral hole. It demoralizes you when you do that. They are back to doing that. Earlier in the season, I feel like they weren't doing that when the offense was struggling. They weren't really hitting starting pitching at all. But they've kind of gotten, for a while, they've gotten back to that. Their offense has been hot for a long time now. I think it's the number one offense in the game in terms of runs scored, OPS. They're very good because they're starting off early in the first inning. So that's been a thing of mine forever. If you've listened to this podcast over the last 5 years, I've been pressing that every year. And then, you got guys like Verdugo and Stanton to come after that. And Stanton, after just kind of criticizing the guy in the Dodgers series, making me look stupid, making me look dumb. I was talking about Jason Dominguez last episode and how I would like for him to come up at some point and probably take the Stanton at-bats because I think it's the smart thing. But Stanton comes through with this series with some home runs, some big hits. Well, not big hits. There were some garbage time hits in there. But he continues to have it's a very streaky Stanton type season. He's always been streaky, but this feels like the streakiest of Stanton's streakiness. But like that's why you got to be careful. Like when you're looking at Stanton's numbers, I always say Stanton's the kind of guy where you can't look at his numbers during the season. You got to just look at his numbers at the end of the season because they're always going to be fluctuating. That batting average could be 230 this week, and then next week you could be looking at it and it'll be 250. You know, that on-base percentage, same thing. The on-base has not been good all year, but the fact that Stanton's hitting for power again consistently and he's driving in runs, the home runs, they're back, the RBIs, he's hitting with runners in scoring position, he's hitting fastballs, he's hitting left-handed pitching, you know, and that's all I was asking for. Just be a threat. And Giancarlo Stanton's being a threat. So just when you think you get past that tough 1, 2, 3 in the order, and now you got these guys. You know, Giancarlo Stanton's no longer the meat, but he's the potatoes, man. He's on the side there. And that's just such a compliment to have him not be a focal point, but just a complimentary player on this team. Because Stanton as a complimentary bat is very important, and that could play a key role in the postseason. So, Stanton had a great series, made me look dumb, but I'm not tipping my cap to him, and I'm actually going to tip my cap to a man named Juan Soto. Tip my cap to Juan Soto, who this series in 4 games went 4 for 11, 364 batting average. 588 on base because he walked 5 times, picked up 4 hits, was hit by a pitch, and hit a sac fly. So 588 on base this series for Juan Soto. So he returned after missing 3 games against the Dodgers, and he looked very good. He looked healthy. You know, the throws he was making were fine. You know, that slide in game 1, people were worried. No problem. It didn't look like it hurt him at all. The arm looked good. The elbow looked good. So Juan Soto returns in Juan Soto fashion. That's now his 8th cap tip, and there's nothing else left to say about this guy. We say it every episode. He has changed the entire team just with his presence, cliche or not. So Juan Soto, tip my cap to you. Let's go to the mound because we didn't talk about him yet, but I want to talk about him now. Carlos Rodon. The man's having a season. And in game 1 of this series, doing his thing. Maybe his best start of the season considering who it was against. But in game 1, Carlos Rodon, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts, a hit batter, no home runs allowed, 103 pitches, gets the win. That's now, here's my favorite part about it. 7 starts in a row from Rodon where he's gone 6 innings or more. And 9 out of 10 where he's done so. Giving you length. He's giving you length. Okay, so I don't care that the strikeouts are down. My goal from Rodon this year, my goal for him was 8 innings, get outs, win games. And he's been 3 for 3. So just keep doing that. If he's not getting a bunch of strikeouts, I'm fine with that because it's keeping his pitch count down. He's going deep into games. Kansas City, they're a contact hitting lineup. So whatever. Carlos Rodon, just keep doing your thing. That's a solid lineup he faced. They have a lot of tough outs in that order. They have a lot of high batting average bats. You know, and the last time Rodon faced the Royals, you know, he was knocked around for 8 runs, couldn't record an out. That was his final start of a disastrous 2023 campaign that we don't like to bring up anymore. But he was great in this game. He ran out of gas a little bit later, but he grinded through the 7th. You know, allowed the 1-out single to Perez. Then he issued 2 out base hits. That's when the Royals got their first run. But throws a slider to Melendez for the ground out. That's when he picks up his first or his 7th complete inning, and he goes 7 strong. So the pitch mix was very 2024 Rodonish, right? He was 49 four-seamers, throwing heat. He was touching 97, 98 at times. You know, 3rd inning, he had that very Great 12-pitch battle to Renfroe. Ends up striking him out. He goes fastball, curve, fastball there. And he gets him on that fastball down the middle, strike 3. He's pumped up after that. So I thought he looked great. 25 sliders, 15 curveballs. So that's new, right? It's kind of like that tertiary off-speed pitch. It's just whatever he has a feel for on that different day, right? Does he have a feel for this for the curve? Does he have a feel for the change, or does he have a feel for the cutter that day? He's going to be fastball slider, but that next off-speed pitch, it's kind of varying start to start. He's kind of abandoned the cutter a little bit lately, only 2 in this game, but he won 15 curveball, 12 changeup, which you love to see, and then 2 cut fastball. So curveball was looking good. He was throwing strikes, attacking the zone, 72% strikes on 103 pitches. Very good. Very, very good. So Carlos Rodon continuing his rebound season and absolutely giving the Yankees everything they paid for. So happy to see it. That's now his 4th salute of the season. So good for Carlos Rodon. Let's go to the bullpen. And I'm going to go to Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver pitched in games 3 and 4 of this series. And he did the damn thing. He did his job. 2 innings, no runs, a strikeout, 3 walks, 1 hit. But he got out of it all. 38 total pitches in these 2 games. Got 2 no decisions. This is his 3rd salute of the season. Tipping my cap to him for the 3rd time this year. Continuing to just work his magic. Fastball away. He's got a nice changeup to use. Just been a weapon. Been a weapon that I did not expect at all. But he's doing it. He's a funny dude. You know, Yes posted another funny clip of him talking about himself. He's really funny. But most importantly, he's a great pitcher for them, and he's been their best reliever. You know, because this bullpen, you know, we bitch about it a lot, but it does need some help. You know, for it to be a World Series bullpen, it does need some help. Because right now it's just Luke Weaver and Clay Holmes who have the good numbers, right? They kind of inflate, or not inflate, but they skew the Yankee bullpen numbers, I feel. Because their bullpen was bad again this series. And Clay Holmes, for as good as his numbers look, like he continues to scare people. You know, he's been shaky ever since he lost that 0 ERA. He's been shaky, which is going to happen. But, you know, people are the people who criticize Clay Holmes are always afraid of, you know, a guy who pitches to contact, and you pitch to soft contact, they're going to find bloops. They're going to find holes. That's just how that works. And that happened today again. And this is a guy who's going to put traffic on the bases. He's got a 1.30 whip, both on the season and in his career, just about. So that's not really a guy you can be totally confident in. And, you know, thinking about, can this guy get me outs in a playoff game? So I understand the worry there. And then you got guys who were really good for you last year, like Ian Hamilton, who's just not been the same guy at all this season. He's constantly putting traffic on the bases. He's letting up hard contact. He's giving up inherited runners, letting up inherited runs every time he comes in, giving up runs of his own. You know, he's just, it's not the same thing. That 2-seamer doesn't have the same bite. It's just not working for Ian Hamilton. And he had another bad series. They tried putting him on the Phantom DL. Didn't seem like that worked. So he's back down to earth. Caleb Ferguson, I guess, has been better lately, but really not that good. Victor Gonzalez, I still don't have a feel of who this guy is. I don't know how to feel about him. Tommy Kahnle, another guy who was very good for the Yankees last year, but he hasn't been good so far in his return. Just got back, but he's a question mark. The injuries, this age. You know, Ron Marinaccio, is he going to become something? I don't know. We'll see. They don't like him, but we'll see. So I still feel like this bullpen is going to need some upgrades. I would like at least, you know, you're getting, hopefully, Trevino and Efros back at some point. But, like, maybe grab 2 relief pitchers at the deadline. Get a strikeout artist in there. Get a left-handed reliever in there. Maybe when Cole returns, Poteet becomes a weapon out of the pen. Maybe they go with Nestor out of the pen when Schmidt returns later in the year. Or when Luis Heel, if they need a strikeout artist, maybe the Yankees put him in the bullpen for a while to limit the innings. Or we'll see what they do. But I do think they do need to make trades. That shouldn't stop them from making an acquisition or two. So it's not my favorite bullpen in the world, not my favorite Yankee bullpen, which this bullpen usually figures its fucking way out. It always does. So we have to be patient and wait and see what they do, what the Yankees do. And the infield is, again, still an area where I feel like they should upgrade. Whether it's third base, second base, first base. Gleyber has been better for about a month now, but that's who he is. This stretch that he's on where he's been more Gleyber Torres-like doesn't really mean anything to me. Anthony Rizzo had a better final couple of games of this series, but it's not enough. And the defense, again, today remains an issue. DJ LeMahieu looking absolutely washed. There's no pop left in that bat. He's not hitting. Austin Wells hit this series. He was on base in, I think he's been on base in 5 straight games, 5 RBIs in that span, 4 hits. Trevino still hitting. Hit a little bit of a slide, but he's hitting again. Got hot this series, a couple of home runs. But I do think they need upgrades in the infield. Whether that's Ryan McMahon, who can play a bunch of positions. Ketel Marte can play a bunch of positions. Those are guys who can hit. Josh Bell, we talked about that. Not a great defensive player, though. Vlad Guerrero, same thing. Bat that's on the trade market, possibly. I don't think that's going to happen, but there are names out there. So we'll see how noisy it gets within the next month. It's going to be a thing. But I definitely do think the Yankees need to make an infield upgrade. And speaking of, after the Dodgers series, after I drop these episodes online, I usually put a couple of Instagram reels on my BD4 Instagram page. And I've been getting a lot of traffic lately. And one of my recent ones, first of all, thank you all so much for the traffic. One of my recent IG reels where I labeled it I labeled it main takeaways from the Dodgers series. Got a lot of comments. So, yeah, first and foremost, I very much appreciate all these comments. And what I would like to do is, because I don't really like to reply in the comments section. I usually just like it, I'll pin it, I'll share it. And that's what I did with your comments. But I will reply to your comments here on this podcast. And I'll do it right now. I'll read them one by one and try to reply as best as I can to some of these. Some of these are just plain statements that I can't really reply to. Like, one guy, let's see this guy, Jose Medrano says, Nestor is booty. So there's that. Another fella, Scott McGrady, says, who do you bench to put Dominguez in the lineup? Go away, dude. They're the best in baseball right now. Be happy. So I am very happy. But I'm also not content. I always want more. And I feel like as a competitor, you should always want more. I think it's a pussy mentality to not want to be better and better and better. I think that's just the competitive edge in an athlete. Is this team's goal to be the best in baseball in the regular season, or is it to be a World Series champion and the only team left in baseball by the end of the season? So that's why I'm always like looking towards because we know the Yankees are good at this point. We know they're one of the best teams in baseball. In a few months from now, September 30th, whatever the fuck September is, we're going to look at the MLB standings, and the Yankees are going to be a top 5 team in baseball, knock on wood. We know that. So we know who they are at this point. The next step is discussing what they need to address. And that's what I'm doing here in my podcast. So my response to that is I want to put Dominguez in the lineup because I think he is one of the faces of their franchise. And I think that at some point, it might catch up to Giancarlo Stanton, right? And it might not hurt to go with Jason the Martian Dominguez, who, a lot of Yankees fans consider, I don't know, one of the faces of their franchise. So that's my response to that. Thanks, Scott. Another fella, Oscar Cortez, says, bro, we put out a replacement pitcher in the first game and Cortez in the second. We not worried. Dodgers had to sweep the Yankees and barely won 2 games. Yes, I agree. Sure. Thank you for the comment, man. Another guy, you don't have a name. Manolo 90744. Dodgers pitching rotation isn't healthy. He says Dodgers pitching rotation isn't healthy. And defensively, we made a lot of mistakes that cost us runs. We are not. Oh, okay. Let me read this again. I think he's a Dodgers fan. So that's why it confused me. Dodgers pitching rotation isn't healthy, and defensively, we made a lot of mistakes that costed us runs. We are not playing at 100% potential yet, so Dodgers should only get much better. Sure. They do play in the National League, so the Yankees don't have to worry about the Dodgers right now. I don't know. I don't think the Dodgers are that good. Sorry. They always choke. They haven't won a World Series since the 80s, so people want to talk about the Yankees. Well, Dodgers haven't won since the 80s. Mickey Mouse. Here's a comment that got a lot of replies to it. Anthony Rivera says, this series showed there are levels, and the Yankees aren't on the Dodgers level just yet. First, third, and second needs to be addressed. Yep. Stanton makes too much to sit. Fair. Dominguez isn't going to be up until later this season. We know this. Nestor needs to go to the pen. A starter is needed. So I don't think that a starter is needed. I think starting pitching could always be added. Of course, you can never have enough pitching. But I don't think it is a must. I don't think it should be the number one priority for the Yankees this deadline. I think getting a couple relievers and, as you said, upgrades in the infield would be nice. I agree. Stanton makes too much to sit, but that's a different conversation than saying Stanton should be sitting. Although, listen, if somebody told me that Jason Dominguez was getting called up tomorrow and Stanton was going to get less at-bats, I am fucking fine with that. Stanton's having a good year. That's fine. But I'm all for Dominguez. He's young. He's got star power potential. But I agree with some of this. I think Nestor should be the pen too. Yeah, I think there are levels to it. I don't know if I can say the Yankees aren't on the Dodgers level just yet. Excuse me. Just because I want to see more. And again, I'm not sold on the Dodgers. But I'm not guaranteeing the Yankees are going to win a title until I see these upgrades made. So thank you for the comment. And that upgrade got a reply. Chris Finelli Rodriguez replied to that comment. And he said, Yankees aren't on the Dodgers level, ? They're better offensively. Their starting pitching has been better. Their bullpen is top notch and they have a better record in a better league, but Dodgers are better. And he put a couple laughing emojis. Dodgers are the most overrated team. Agree. Phillies are clearly better than the Dodgers, and the Braves would have been better, but they lost their ace and best player. True. Yankees are the favorite to be in the World Series. Dodgers aren't. Thanks. I needed the laugh. I actually don't disagree with that comment. I could see both viewpoints, but I don't disagree with that comment. And then another guy replied, Alex says, horrible take to the original comment. And then he wrote a whole essay that I really don't feel like reading because it's so long. But the rest of these replies to this comment are basically two adults acting like children and insulting each other. But I really do appreciate having this on my page. Like, I don't get traffic for shit. So this is new to me and I love it. So thank you to all. 3 more comments I'll read here. Somebody named Stephen Curtis says, we have a problem at 3 infield positions. Correct. Another guy named Regis says, Soto didn't play. That's why they lost. No swag. Facts. And then Vince, who's been a pretty routine commenter, thank you, man, for having some conversations with me. I do reply to you from time to time. Said, this team is coming for blood. I agree. So those are the comments that I got on my IG reel about the Dodgers series. So I do appreciate you all for giving your input. I think that's awesome that you guys are all commenting there. So thank you so much to those who joined into that conversation. I appreciate the traffic. And with that said, I think that's all regarding this episode in this Royal series. We have Boston up next. For the first time this season, the Yankees are playing the Red Sox. They're playing the Red Sox. It is at Fenway, so they're going into Redneck City, playing the Boston Red Sox at Fenway Park. They are a bad team, the Red Sox. They're not a good team, so I expect the Yankees to beat those bums. Hopefully, because it's a 3-game set, they can sweep those bums, and those Rednecks can get embarrassed in their own home. Juan Soto, I'm excited to see his first Yankees-Red Sox series. Giancarlo Stanton is a guy who rakes against Boston. Garrett Cole was initially, the idea was for him to make his first start back this series, but I think the Yankees are going to take it slow with him, which is a good thing. I don't know that I want him making his first start back in the only place where he's probably not great in. But I'm excited for this series regardless. Has Yankees-Boston lost some luster? Of course. But they've been around forever. They're going to be down points, and it will reheat at some point again someday. But I'm always going to be juiced up for Yankees-Boston. Tomorrow's game moved up to 6:30, which I dislike because I'm working. I work at night, so the earlier the worst. But after that, you got Saturday, Sunday, 7:10, 7:15 games. So there you have it. Yankees-Boston up next. Yankees just took 3 out of 4 from Kansas City against the Royals, so there's that. And with that said, we're going to wrap this show up. When we return from our break, we'll get to our question of the day, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Stay with us. Be right back. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
Thanks for listening to BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA, Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion.
All right. So for this episode 691, our trivia question of the day is, which pitcher won at least 10 games for both the Yankees and Cubs in 1945, becoming the first pitcher with 10 wins in each league in one season? All right, so I'll read that again because it's kind of a long question. Jesus. Just like it's been a long night, long week for my voice. Which pitcher won at least 10 games for both the Yankees and Cubs in 1945, becoming the first pitcher with 10 wins in each league in one season. All right. So one final time, our trivia question here in episode 691 of the podcast, BD4. Which pitcher won at least 10 games for both the Yankees and Cubs in 1945, becoming the first pitcher with 10 wins in each league in one season? In one season. Let's not fucking crack our voices. Can I get through one sentence where my voice doesn't give out on me? Good Christ. All right, folks. That's a good way to wrap this up. I appreciate you all tuning in to the show. We'll be back in 692. We'll be back doing Yankees Boston. Thank you all. Appreciate it very much. And again, thank you all who joined into my Instagram reel and had those thoughts that you gave out. I appreciate every one of you, and that's why I shared it on my story. So thank you all. Keep them coming. I appreciate it. That's it. Episode 691 of the books. The Yanks take three in KC, and Boston's next. So that should be fun. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you, and we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees, and go Knicks!